Hi, I'm Pam, and it's time for my monthly update video telling you everything that I was up to in the month of January. So as far as updates go, the only real thing out of the ordinary that I did was that I went to MAGfest at the beginning of the year, which was an absolutely amazing time. I have been to MAGfest before, but it's been a number of years. However, a bunch of my friends go there sort of as a yearly thing whenever it's on, and it ended up, I think there was 9 of us there sort of as a group traveling from all over, and it was so great. It was really nice to see a bunch of the people who have basically kept me sane over the past 2 years, see them in real life and be able to hang out and talk and drink together and play games, and it was just an amazing time. The convention was really good as far as like COVID safety protocols and things. They were very good. Everyone I saw was masked properly, different story at the airport on the way there and back, but at the actual convention, everyone was really good about masking and everything. I was kind of convinced I was going to get it while I was there, but I didn't, and neither did anyone else in my group, which was really nice. I bought a bunch of things on the vendor floor, which I'll show you soon, played a bunch of arcade games, but really the standout was just hanging out with my friends. We had a bunch of hotel rooms, and one of them, there was some hotel room cooking going on, so we had dinner every night in the room so that we could all just hang out and not worry about being in restaurants or things like that. But we had some amazing food, valley chicken and chili and slow roast pork, and it was amazing. We played some really fun games, and yeah, it was just a really good time. Oh, also there were some concerts. I saw the Super Guitar Brothers, which was really good, and I think my favorite act was the Triforce Quartet, which is like a string quartet who does a bunch of video game music. It was really cool. Some of my friends had an atrium room, so we could just sit on the balcony up on a high floor and sort of look down at everything and people watch and listen to music being played. And yeah, it was really, really fun, and I hope that I can go back next year. So now on to pickups. I wasn't really looking for any games. There's honestly not too many game vendors at MAGfest anyways. It tends to be more sort of art and crafty type of things. But Fangamer had a booth there, and I really like Fangamer. They make a lot of Hollow Knight stuff, and I couldn't pass up the chance to get things without having to pay for shipping. So I got a Hollow Knight hoodie that I've had my eye on for quite a while, and I wish I had gotten it in a smaller size. The guy there said they run small, but not that small, I guess. But it's just got a little thing on the front and then a big design on the back. It's covered in cat hair now because that is how I live. But yeah, really like this. A little bit big, but my favorite thing is these Hollow Knight pajama pants, which are so cute and so comfy, and they have pockets in them, and I love these. I had never seen these on the site before, so I was happy I found these. One last Hollow Knight thing, it's just a little crocheted version of the knight to go along with the shade that I keep over on my speakers near my turntable. Just a little cute guy. I also got some things from a vendor. I actually don't remember the name of this vendor, but just vinyl stickers of Goro Majima and Kazuma Kiryu from Yakuza. I really love these. I especially love this guy. I love his bat. That whole fighting style is amazing, but I thought they should go together, so I got both. And then I got a little painting from Square Painter, who does some really cool sort of pixel art. He did a Felix painting that I bought at a convention a while ago, and this time I got this one from the Guardian Legend. I love that game, and I could not pass up having this to go along with my Felix. Also, there was a makeup vendor there, which I was very surprised to see. It's a place called Surreal Makeup, and I guess they focused on sort of cosplay makeup, and I'm not a cosplayer, but I like shiny, pretty things, so I got a few things. One was a little palette of various cream shadows, which I'll probably show these off more on my makeup channel, Cosmetic DLC, at some point. But if you liked my makeup in my last video, my Quest for Glory video, it was this. It's a multi-chrome called Milky Way, and it's just this beautiful cream shadow that sort of shifts between like purple and greeny, goldy color. I'm not sure if it's gonna catch it with the light like this, but it's absolutely gorgeous, and yeah, couldn't resist buying some new makeup, even though I kind of told myself I was done. And lastly, just one game that I bought physically last month, and that is Guardians of the Galaxy for Xbox. I just keep hearing great things about this game and about the story and the writing, so I decided I would pick it up and give it a try for myself. I'm just sort of working through a couple other big games right now, but as soon as I finish one of them, I will start this. Now onto the games I played last month. There were a lot of them. A number of them I played at MAGfest. Someone brought a Switch, so we were playing some games in the hotel room. We played the newest JackBox, I think it's JackBox 8, and specifically there's this game in there called Job Job, and it was the most hilarious thing ever. You have to answer a question, each person answers a question, and then in the next round you get other people's answers and have to basically take all the words they used and make a new sentence to answer another question, and it was so funny. We were all pretty drunk, so that probably made it extra funny, but definitely one of my favorite Jackbox games that I've played so far. We also played through a bit of What the Golf, which is a game I've heard lots of good things about, and when I tried it, it did not disappoint. A couple of us basically just passed the controller back and forth, and my friend Rochelle played through the first level, I played through the second, Ross played through the third, and it's really funny, just very unexpected. You think you're going to be hitting the ball with the golf club, but then something else happens. Also, there was a couple levels with these awful little kids while you're trying to hit a soccer ball, but it was, again, very sort of surprising and amusing. I might end up picking that one up on Switch at some point because it was a lot of fun. Also, MAGfest has a giant free play arcade, just all kinds of machines, pinball tables, stand-up arcades, sit-down arcades, various music and rhythm games and things like that. My friend Michelle and I played through a bit of Ravolution X. I love the light gun games. Ravolution X is that one with Aerosmith in it, and you basically have two light guns, but they're mounted light guns, so you don't have to hold them and get your arms tired from holding them up the whole game. However, your hands and your forearms still get tired from pulling the trigger so often. It's a very silly game. It's probably not my favorite light gun game out there. We didn't end up going through the entire thing. We played for probably a good 20 minutes, got through 2 levels, and then decided that's enough. We've pretty much seen everything there is to see here, but I do like any light gun arcade game, so I always try to play as many as I can. Now on Sunday at MAGfest, there was a little bit of travel difficulty, and my flight, which was supposed to be at 11:30, got canceled and I got moved to one at 4, so I ended up spending a lot of time in the arcade on Sunday. Most people had left for the day, they left early, so I was just sort of wandering around the arcade by myself, trying to beat as many games as possible. The first game I played was Blazing Star, and I actually did have a friend, my friend Banana, came midway through the game and sat down and played through it with me. But this is a shoot 'em up, a horizontal scrolling shooter that was originally for the Neo Geo, I think, and it was a lot of fun. You have different ships to use. It gets really, really difficult. Like, we're lucky it was on free play because we died a lot. It would have cost tens of dollars to get through that game if we were actually having to put quarters in it. But the game was a lot of fun. It had some very spotty translations, which ended up being quite hilarious. Really interesting bosses, the last of which was a baby which crawled around and eventually got access to a very large gun. But it was a lot of fun, and glad I played that one. After that, I sort of went around on my own. I found a cabinet of Maximum Force, which is my favorite my favorite light gun game. It's usually packaged with an Area 51, but I've always liked Maximum Force more because there was a bar I used to go to, like just when I turned of legal age, and they had a cabinet there, so anytime I would go with my friends or like my coworkers, I would always sneak off and play the light gun game. So I played through the entire thing of that, which was a lot of fun. Made my arms pretty sore, but I was super happy to have a chance to play that again because it's been many, many years since I've seen one of those anywhere. And the last arcade game I played through was Game Tengoku, which is a Jaleco game. It's sort of a parody shoot-'em-up like Parodius, and it all takes place in an arcade. I think the story is some evil guys trying to take over all the arcades, and so you're basically going through these shooter levels as various protagonists from other Jaleco shoot-'em-ups, and the backgrounds are really cool. There's like one that's in an arcade, one is on a pinball table, I think one is over like one of those claw machines, one is inside of a motherboard, so just very silly, but also a lot of fun, and this one wasn't too difficult either, so I really liked it. And back at home, I also finished a number of games. I played through The Walking Dead: The Final Frontier. I noticed that it was on Game Pass, and I erroneously thought it was the final game in the Walking Dead series, only to realize that there is actually another one, and I don't think it's on Game Pass. But in this one, you're not playing as Clementine, you're playing as a new character and his family, and you know, it's the Walking Dead Telltale formula. You go around, you meet new people, you get betrayed, you make choices, people die. I thought it was okay. Again, I've mentioned many times that I'm kind of tired of the Telltale formula, and I'm still tired of it. I find the decision making isn't as important as you think, and the sort of walking around and looking at things and the quick time events are just not all that engaging to me, but it does kind of make me want to play the final one because I know you get to play as Clementine again, so I might give that one a try at some point, but Walking Dead New Frontier was just okay for me. A game that I think has been retired at this point. My usual group of online game-playing friends and I have finished whatever we had been playing last. Oh, Back 4 Blood, and we started a game called Generation Zero, and it's sort of more of a sandboxy survival game, and it's just extremely half-baked. Like, there's a crafting system, but it's not that well implemented. You ride bicycles around, but they have ridiculous physics, and if you like run into a fence, you'll go flying off into the air. If you find a bicycle but it's not yours, you can't use it, but the map tracks every bicycle without telling you which one is yours. The combat is all kind of meh, the story isn't really there. So far there hasn't been any NPCs, you just keep finding notes, sending you to the next place. And it was just sort of a little buggy, not that much fun, but there are some really ridiculous, like there's fun to be had because of how ridiculous things are, like the physics on the bicycles. Also, there's a really great emote system. 3 of the 4 of us made the exact same character in the character creator, and we kind of looked like we were the Ramones or something. I had this like long black shag and a leather jacket, and I found the emotes, and my friends would be around, you know, collecting things, fighting things, and I would just be standing off in a corner going, just the whole time, just taking screenshots of myself being stupid. And I got a lot of enjoyment out of just making stupid faces with my character and doing like silly dances and things. But overall, the game was, just very half-baked. I don't think it's even new. Like, I think it's been out for a few years, but it's just not a quality game. Something else that was on Game Pass is Gorogoa, which is a very clever puzzle game. It's got this beautiful hand-drawn art style, and it's all about perspectives. So you've got your screen, and it's made up of 4 boxes. So you'll see an image in one box, and maybe you can drag part of the image away. Maybe you can like drag one image onto another, and like something will superimpose or something will get highlighted, and then you can like go further into the image. And it was really, really clever. The puzzles were really nice. I kind of think it's the kind of game that would probably actually play better on an iPhone or something as opposed to on console or PC, but it was just a really beautiful and fairly quick, like 2 or so hour puzzle game, and I thought it was very clever and I enjoyed it. One of the games I finished on stream, on my usual Sunday adventure stream over on Twitch, was The Legend of Kyrandia. And this is a game I've always wanted to play. I remember in elementary school going to a friend's house and seeing the box on her computer table at computer desk and thinking it looked really beautiful. And Westwood does make really beautiful pixel art, makes really good soundtracks to the game. But I thought that Legend of Kyrandia had the worst adventure game puzzles I've ever experienced. Just bad. The story and everything is whatever. The protagonist is not, like, there's really nothing to him. He's not very interesting, but the puzzles are so bad. To start out with, you have 10 inventory slots, and that's it. And one of the first puzzles involves picking up gems, of which there are more than 10. You have to pick 4 of them in a certain order. And I looked this up later, and the first one, you can guess that one from a clue, but the next 3 gems are completely random. You just have to pick out of the other 12 gems that are left and just basically use trial and error to do that. And that is not the only trial and error puzzle in the game. So it was just immensely frustrating, a lot of backtracking specifically because of the inventory. There's a lot of ways to soft lock the game. If you travel to a new place and you haven't picked something up that you need, you can't travel back, so you basically just have to reload, which is one of my absolute pet peeves in adventure games. And also there was a horrible maze that included these fire berries that you could pick up to light the cave you were in, but they only lasted so long, and if you ever got to a place where your fire berries went out, you would just get eaten by monsters in the dark. So I thought Legend of Kyrandia was absolute trash. I thought it was a very bad adventure game. I'm glad I had the stream there, because if I didn't have the stream there, like if I was playing this by myself, I definitely would have quit, but at least I had some fans of the game who could give me hints throughout the way, but very bad. Very bad, would not recommend. I finished up one of my most anticipated games from last year, which was Sherlock Holmes Chapter One, the newest Sherlock Holmes game from Frogwares. I've really liked a number of their Sherlock games that they've made, and this one, if you've played it, is like The Sinking City? Is it The Sinking City? I'm pretty sure it's The Sinking City. There was 2 Cthulhu games that came out. It was the Frogwares one. I think it's Sinking City. So it's very sort of open world. You are in Cordova and you're going around solving various mysteries. There's one big thread throughout it. Sherlock Holmes is young and he's trying to remember the circumstances around his mother's death. That's sort of the big overarching story of it. But then as he goes, the local authorities or people contacting him to solve other mysteries along the way. And there's other things about, remembering your childhood. And he goes along and he has John with him, and John is his imaginary friend, which was weird. No one else could see him, and I don't know. I mean, I guess in the grand scope of where the story went, I can understand it, but it was a very strange choice to have Watson be his imaginary friend rather than an actual assistant. So that was kind of interesting, but I really liked the game overall. There's no waypoint, so when you get a case, it'll come up and say, oh, it's in this district at this intersection. So you have to go on the map and find it and put in your own waypoint to get yourself there. There's a big deduction board, all sorts of clues to look at. You can do chemical analysis of some kind of clues, which is basically a little math puzzle to do. And one thing that was cool was that there's not necessarily right answers to a lot of the cases. So you're interpreting the evidence as you see fit, rather than there being a definite, like, yes, this guy is the murderer. So based on what you're finding, you can put clues together and then you have to interpret what they mean, which is pretty interesting. I think some people might not like that because they want, a solid tell me what is right. But it's cool because the whole thing was sort of about Sherlock and his personality and his development and what he thought was important. So being able to interpret the cases and sort of really decide what you think is the right solution was actually kind of cool. I kind of liked that. So it was pretty good. Sometimes the controls got a little bit fussy. You have all your evidence and you can pin a certain thing of evidence in order to question people about it or in order to find new things. And sometimes I found that got a little confusing, like it wasn't clear exactly what evidence you need to pin. There was also a disguise system, so often people would only talk to others that looked like they were from the same station. Like if it looked like you were just this pretty little rich boy running around, some people didn't want to help you, so you'd have to disguise yourself so you sort of fit in more with them, which was kind of cool. But overall, I really liked it. I really liked the cases and, again, the sort of open-endedness of it. And yeah, if you like those kind of Sherlock detective deduction games, and if you liked The Sinking City, then I think this is a very good game. And the last game that I beat, this was over on my stream on Thursday, was the Count Lucanor, which is a adventure horror type game. You play a rather annoying little boy who decides he's turned 10, he's an adult now, he's gonna go off to seek his fortune. He ends up in this castle where he's told that he can be the new count if only he's smart enough to go through these trials. So you have to guess the name of the creature who is giving you this challenge. That's your sort of goal. And as you go through different rooms, you find chests which will have one of the letters of his name. And it was really interesting. As you go through the first part, you're given some items and you pass by people on your way, and like there's an old lady and she's broken her cane and she can't walk, and you have the option to give her your cane that your mother gave to you that was from her grandfather, or you pass by people who want food and you can decide whether or not you want to give them food. I was a selfish little bastard and I didn't help anyone on my way to the castle, which did come back to bite me in the butt. There are multiple endings and multiple ways to go through the game, so I feel like things would have been better if I had just been a little nicer to people, but the kid was kind of a dick, so I thought I would play him that way. I really liked the puzzles in the game. They were very clever. There was some sort of timing-based, almost action-y sequences. There were some inventory puzzles, and then there were some puzzles that had me getting out my notebook and writing things down, which I always really like, and word puzzles and things like that. Overall, I really enjoyed most of the game. There are some like hide 'em up elements. As you're going through, there are monsters patrolling, and sometimes they were a real pain in the butt. Like, they would just lurk around outside the door that I wanted to be in, and I'd have to sort of like leave and come back, or spend a lot of time hiding under a table to get them to go away. One particular monster could just kill you from halfway across the room, and I thought, that sucked. But generally, very good. Spotty translation. The translation is not excellent. I think the developers are from France and Spain, so I'm not sure what was the original language was, but the English could use a little bit of work. But the story was pretty cute. I really liked the puzzles, and I finished it all in one stream, so it was about 3-ish hours long, and if you like that kind of spooky, puzzly adventure games, then I recommend it. So that is what I finished last month. I've honestly spent most of my time playing through Dark Souls 1, which I started up, and Eterna Noctis, which I also started on stream and have since put in like another 40 hours. It's one of the biggest Metroidvanias I've ever played. I will make a review of it whenever I manage to finish the game. But yeah, that is what I was up to in January. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you've been playing, if you got any interesting pickups, if you want to make any recommendations. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.